Hello teacher, today I tell you a short conversation between woman and man. First, the woman asked the man, "What were your daughter doing those days?" The man replied to the woman, "She was at the university then. She was studying economics." The woman was surprised. She thought she would become a lawyer like him now. Number 8. The man asked the woman if she had seen him in his surgery. The woman replied to the man. Linda and her planned to visit him in the hospital that afternoon. The men were very happy because Jim's wife said that he really wanted visitor. Number 9. The woman wanted to know that was Sandy's car parked by the front door. The man replied to the woman, "It was Tom's, and he were the new secretary." The woman said to the man, "He'd better move it because he parked in the director's space." Number 10. The man wanted to know how much the bus fare was. The woman replied to the man, "That's were $1.50." And she wanted to know if he wanted a transfer. The woman replied to the man. The man replied to the woman, "Please tell him when they got to his stop and he were going to the central post office." Identifying intent. Number 1. The woman were very happy, and she said to the man that he met the car and she got ticket for Sunday evening. The man were so happy too, and she replied to the woman, he was so looking forward to that, and they were his favorite band. The woman agreed with him, and she said that it were at this Capitol Theater. That was the best place for a concert. 2. Number 2. The man complained to the woman that he was so tired of that office. It was so early. The woman suggested buying some new furniture or at least get a new rug. The man said that new things are so expensive, but he could paint the furniture he had then. Number 3. The woman said to the man that she would like to order a small plain pizza. The man wanted to know she would like delivered or pick it up. The woman said to the man, "Deliver it to her office, please." Number 4. The man said to the woman that he was freezing cold. The woman replied to him, "Then he probably didn't want any ice cream." The man agreed with her, and he said that he needed something to warm him up, like a cup of tea. Number 5. The woman was just taking a cab because it was raining. And the man said, replied to her, "Just a little," and he had an umbrella, and he wanted to walking. And the woman don't agree with her because it was starting to rain harder, and there were a cab. Get it in. Number 6. First, the man said to the woman that were her order. That would be $25. The woman replied to the man, let her check her wallet, and she told that he didn't have a cash, and she wanted to know if a credit card uh, would done. Would the man agreed with her, and she said that would be fine. Number 7. The man said to the woman, "It's really cold in there," and she's suggesting off the air conditioning. The woman was so surprised, and she asked to the man why the air conditioning would be on, because it was winter. And the man replied to the woman that he saw the problem, someone left the window open. Number 8. The man said to the woman, "That's our pharmacy that works. It was time to get a new one." The woman wanted to know if he was sure. Maybe it were not bloodletting. The man was so impressing, and said to the woman, she was right. Number 9. The woman wanted to know if that was that day's paper. She wanted to lend it a few minutes, and and the man agreed, and she wanted to know if she wanted to see that day's headline. The woman said that she just wanted to check the movie schedule. Number 10. The man suggested buying that sweater, uh, and she said that it looked good on her. The woman agreed with him, and she told uh, it went well with her skirts, but for the party he needed the dress. The man agreed with the woman, and she told that it were a formal party and long dress were more suitable than a skirt. That's all. Thank you for watching, teacher.